times our teenagers, when you view all those nudes on social medias, you'll be tempted to pull up your own trend, right? So I really want this book to get you to know that that is not actually how it's meant to be. That's not the right part of life. That whatever you put out there in the social media, whatever you do, later on in life, it's gonna bounce back. Good afternoon.
So we have here the author of this new book, Without Blossom.
Yeah.
So Miss Faithfulness Nena Okuru, you are the author of this book, right?
Yeah. This is my first published work.
Your first book. Interesting. So we're going to be asking you some few questions in order to inspire our viewers and probably help answer some of the questions your readers might be asking on a daily
Exactly.
basis. So we want to talk about the first question is what inspired you to write Without Blossom?
Okay, well, first of all, God inspired me. I give all the glory to God. Then the life my fellow youths, growing up as a young girl, I found out that the teachings I got from my parents, the upbringing doesn't tally with what I get to view from the society. So I really got uh inspired. I got so passionate about bringing back the lost value in the society. So basically, the lives our youths, my fellow youths and teenagers live nowadays is what inspired me to put up this work Without Blossom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you wrote the book to inspire and improve
Yeah.
the lives of our youth.
Yeah, because I know that obviously I cannot change the world, but I believe I can make an impact,
Of
like
course.
somehow. Yeah.
That's good. So can you give us a brief summary of this novel?
Okay, well, Without Blossom is a story of youths who made mistakes, and these mistakes, I want people, especially our youth, to connect their lifestyles, learn from the mistakes, and hopefully lives will change for the best.
Hmm,
Yeah.
that's good. So in your story, what are your main themes?
Okay, the main themes in the book is parental guidance, discipline, and moral in the society. So these are like the main three themes in the story.
All right.
Yes.
So how did you come up with this title Without Blossom and what is its significance to the story?
I came up with Without Blossom. First of all, my initial title was like Dim Beam, and then during the course of production and publication, it got changed by me. So Without Blossom was gotten from kind of a summary of the story. You can clearly see in
Yeah.
this picture here,
Yes.
this is the blossom. It
Yeah.
used to be, this used to be like this, so it
Yes.
got withered.
Okay.
So it's all about the story of someone who has a bright future, who is aspiring to be a good journalist in the society and impact on the society as well. But along the line, she got deviated, and that was how I came up with
Wow.
that
Wow.
blossom. Yeah.
So tell us about your main characters and their role in the story.
Okay, Nancy and Kelvin are my main characters in the story. So Nancy is the protagonist and Kelvin is the antagonist in the
Okay.
story, right? Nancy, you said I should tell you about their
Yes,
roles.
what are their roles in the story?
Okay, Nancy was the young girl who deviated from her path. She wanted to see life aside her parents, all their hustles to get her together, get her to being who they want her to
Mm.
be, a good impact in the society and all of that. But Nancy, as most of our teenagers do, wants to view the world, wants to
Explore.
explore, right? So and it led to her doom. Then Kelvin, on the other hand, is the guy that took advantage of Nancy's ignorance and on
Messed
on
it up.
mindfulness, right?
Mm.
So Kelvin was the guy
With that, Nancy.
who that Nancy's close up.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. So, what message or takeaway do you hope your readers will get from this novel?
My readers, my main audience are the teenagers and the youth, right? So I would really want them to take home value. When you get to read this book, I would want your mind kind of get reset. So most of the time when we go through social medias, sometimes our teenagers, when you view all those nudes on social medias, you'll be tempted to pull up your own trend, right? You feel that's what is trending. So I really want this book to get you to know that that is not actually how it's meant to be. That's not the right path of life. We should keep ourselves till we are married. We should keep ourselves, and you should know that whatever you put out there in the social media, whatever you do, later on in life, it's gonna bounce back to you. I would love to take this medium to also share a story of this guy who died, who committed suicide because his classmates showed him pictures of nudes of his mom on social media. So the guy, he could not bear the
Shame.
shame. So he took his life. So all these things always come back even after you are no longer here, and it's going to be a shameful thing to a generation to come.
Wow. So, let's talk about your writing process. How
Okay.
long did it take you to write Without Blossom?
Okay, Without Blossom, I actually started writing from my JSS3. I always tell people I was putting up with one novel just because I have this passion for writing when the inspiration of Without Blossom came, right? So I had to drop that one, and that was in my JSS3. I started writing Without Blossom. So it took me 3 years just from my JSS3 to my SS2. I was able to get the book published.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow, that's good. So, how can you describe your writing process? Do you have any specific process or ritual?
Okay, then I was living with my aunt, so like I had to take care of the kids, and then but I had my ways to
Mm.
manage. I mean, at nights I do write. Basically at nights I get inspiration on more ideas to put up in the book.
So, what were your challenges when you were writing the book? How did you overcome those challenges?
Um, like I said, it was the fact that I was living with an aunt.
Did you have any specific research you did for this book?
Okay, yes. Then I didn't have a phone, so I was like always with my dictionary at my junior stages in school. I throughout my secondary school education, I didn't have a phone, so it didn't really give me that research I needed. But I did a whole lot with my dictionary. I was doing my dictionary throughout the writing process. So yeah, I
Okay,
researched.
so let's talk about your personal insights. How much of yourself or your experience are in this book?
As if I'm waiting for this question. Okay, during the first page of the book, I could see myself telling my own story, but then I had to like mix other things to put up with. So even my school mother, when she opened the book, she was like, the first paragraph, she said, "Faith, it's your story that I'm seeing here. It's your story. It's you that I'm seeing here." I said, "I'm not tall, though." So like A mixture of my life experience, but not much.
Okay.
It was basically all a fiction, imagination. Yeah.
So, are there any authors or books that influenced your writing style or the story itself?
Okay, I'll confess. I'll make a confession. Well, I did try to write the American style, which I might meant to regret it all, but I did try to use because I read a lot of American stories, a whole lot of American story I can get my hands on. So, and magazines and all of that. So that style, American style, actually had an influence in the book. But I promise my Nigerian viewers that my next book, subsequent books won't, not that it's a bad thing though, but like I want to be indigenous, right, next time.
Okay. So, what did you balance your time between writing and other responsibilities?
Sorry.
When you were writing this book, how did you balance your time with this writing and other responsibilities? How did you balance the time?
Yeah. it I was able to balance my time because it's something I found, like, as I saw it as a hobby. I didn't see it as an assignment or something. So I didn't really feel that there were responsibilities. Moreover, I didn't even initially see the book being published. I thought it would be one of the books I would write and keep in my heart and in my shelf. I didn't see it coming. So I didn't really face. I managed my time because it was a passion, and even though there were other things, schools, assignments and all of that, I still one thing is to, I do tell people, one thing is to write, another is to complete the story, and another is to publish. There are people who just write and along the line they just get tired, they stop, they don't, and a lot of people do complete the story and they don't get to publish, right? So yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your publication journey.
Okay.
What was the most surprising thing you learned during the publication process?
I think I need to think about this, but like I was surprised to know okay, there were a lot of things I was actually surprised about. I didn't okay, the book printing, how they get to design the covers, how they get to like place my pictures, and how everything got to be done, because basically this is my first published book, right? I've never published a book before, so I was literally surprised, totally surprised that the outcome of the book in being in this form is one whole lot of a surprise. So everything about the publication, I found it surprising.
Okay,
I wouldn't say I saw it coming.
How do you feel when you saw your book in print for the very first time?
Oh, I felt like I was like, oh my god. Okay, it was on the floor like this and bundles. I said, Jesus, so this is my book. Oh my god, I was so, oh my god, I can't forget that pleasant feeling I had that my book was in this form. I literally did not feel it was reality. I felt it was a dream I was having, like, until after a few months or a year, I now found it a reality.
Wow.
So it felt like a dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us, what advice would you give to an aspiring author who is working on their very first book, their first novel?
Okay, aspiring author who is working on their very first book, you have your books. I mean, I met a whole lot of my junior students then in school. They were like, senior, when the book came out, senior, I have books I'm writing, senior, please. One thing is consistency. You have to be consistent enough to like finish the book. get to make a lot of corrections. I know when the book, even though I don't know what was in store for me, right? But I had this feeling that let me keep doing, let me just nah bambo, let me keep pushing, let me keep working hard, and I was doing everything that I was expected to do. I made the corrections. I was asked to correct it like 3 times. I wrote the books in 3 different books. It took 3 different books for this work to be actually done.
Wow.
So when I take it to this teacher, he or she will give his or her corrections, and I'll go and write. I'll take it to another teacher. So I was doing everything involved. So as an aspiring writer, you are writing, one thing, you have to be consistent enough. That's the only way you will see your book in coming to reality like this. So you have to finish. One thing is to write, like I said before, another is to complete. And if you don't complete the book, there is no way that you get to publish it, even if you have the money. So first of all, you have to like complete, make sure you complete the book, and it's something you have to like take your time to do, because you might find the story very interesting, and the ending, due to you didn't give yourself enough time to complete the book, you now start like rushing, and it might end up in a shabby form. So you have to take your time, put on all the pleasure, put on all the strength you have to get to complete your work, and by God's grace, I'm telling you, it will really come out this way. Amen.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So how has the reception been since the book was published?
Reception from the public, I mean, the public, they received it with a whole heart. They have been very supportive, and the reception is basically the most enjoyable part. Stressful though, but the most enjoyable part of the publication.
So how do you see your writing evolving in the future? How do you see it evolving?
I think this is the best question I've gotten so far from this interview. Well, in the future, I see myself in a very big place in the writing industry. But even though I'm science inclined, I didn't tell you people, I'll be studying nursing by this upcoming semester. My passion for writing is undying, and I see myself on big screens in the future, right? Even funny enough, I do see myself on screen now, like in my imagination. I'm not seeing myself where I am presently. I see myself in a very, very big screen
as a writer,
like
or
international
as an actress. Which of them?
Because
you also act. You're also acting.
I said that's not what.
You're also acting. I think I'll see one or two.
Yeah, I do act, but we're talking about my writing, so I do see myself in the same level, what, bigger than all this Ben Carson, Chimamanda Adichie. I see myself, presently, not stuck up then. I see myself mingling and
that's wonderful.
Sharing those with them.
So what do you hope to achieve as an author in the next few years?
Okay, as an author, I hope to publish many inspiring books. All right, this is my first published work. I hope to have several books, several inspiring books for the society, because I think recently I found myself trying to get to our society. This second book I'm writing is on racism. Why is there racism in the contemporary society of Nigeria in the 21st century, right? Why is there still racism from the outside world? And when you read A Heart in the Bridge, you get to find out why it's so, right? And then I hope to write, get to our society, get to connect to the society and change them. For even if I wouldn't be able to change the world, I know I would make a great impact by God's grace.
Okay. Well. Thank you so much.
Was that all the questions?
Yeah, that's all the questions.
Yeah.
So it was not wonderful having you and hearing about your dreams for the future, your writing journey, especially writing your first book. It's not easy, you know. As a writer, I know that feeling of writing and you are lucky. You are quite lucky because when I started writing, it took me over 10 years, that's a decade, to actually get my first book published. So it was that tough. There was no money. I didn't have access to a publisher that could say, okay, I'll publish and I'll pay you royalty. There was nothing like that. It was hard work and it was so tough. So, but at the end of the day, this is where we are, and I'm happy that you started your own journey and you're telling your story.
I mean, God knows, and He wants me to start on time. There is no time.
Yeah, of course, of course. So nice having you.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
to our viewers, do get a copy of this book, and of course, the next coming book, The Heart in the Blue, a nice title. See ya. Bye.
Bye.